All right, we are live, everybody. Happy Friday, and we got a great movie. Well, it's so. If you ask me, it's loosely based off of the American Werewolf in London that came out in the early '80s. We are talking about none other than American Werewolf in Paris, starring Tom Everett Scott and Julia Delpy. Um I recently did watch this movie because it is free on YouTube here. And this movie, guys, I have to say, to be perfectly honest with you, um, there are a lot of vibes. There are a lot of vibes of American Wolf in London in it. Particularly when the one friend does get killed, he does come back. I mean, of course, they show all the aftermath of what the werewolf did to him. But I think what they could have left out was with Tom Everett Scott's character. I have to stop and think for a minute. Let me get on there. Let me just look at what his character's name is. I'm having problems thinking of it right now. Uh, um, but I mean, his character is something. I'll give it to you that. Um, let's go ahead and let's see what we got here. Andy, Andy. His character Andy was making out with this one girl in a graveyard scene. Um, she gets mauled by the werewolf, and it was like so she comes back from the dead as well, like a hallucination scene for Andy, because his one buddy is already dead. I think they could have left. I think they could have left her out of it. Um, because if you go back in American Werewolf in London, the character of David Nonnington's, I think it's no, Griffin Dunn. Yeah, Griffin Dunn's character is the one that gets killed by the werewolf, and he comes back and pretty much haunts David, uh, and he becomes more decayed and stuff like that. Uh, because like I said, I mean, the only difference is with this film is it's set in Paris, France, instead of England, which is really unique. Because you know, I like European countries, and England and France are the two biggest ones for me out there. Julia Delpy as Seraphine, I thought she was great. I think she's a real French actress. I think she was really great in the movie. My only thing with her was the fact that when she says something, the only way to not become a werewolf anymore is to kill the werewolf that bit you and eat its heart out. I thought that was kind of weird because usually once you're bitten by a werewolf in these movies, there is no cure. I mean, there isn't, but uh, she was really good as Seraphine. I really liked her. The one scene with her and Andy, when Andy did get bit on the ankle. He wakes up and he's inside Seraphine's house, and it was like a little bit of a dream sequence, but he was kind of. I don't think he was really relaxed and stuff. So she ends up taking off her shirt, and she places. You don't see her nude. You don't see her actually nude. Her front end, her chest area, but she places his palm of his hands over her boobs, which I thought was really cool. Oh, that was pretty cool. Look at that. But can we zoom out? What the heck? I don't know. That's weird. I'm still trying to figure out this whole thing with the the Insta360 camera, but so far we zoomed out. That's weird. But I thought that was pretty cool. But she was trying to get him relaxed, right? Uh, Not to spoil a lot of it if you guys have not seen this film, but I mean, there's a reason why. There's a reason why he is there at her house. Um, the werewolf effects with the werewolf, it looked really good. It looked better than what we had in American Werewolf in London. The only thing with American Werewolf in London that bothered me about the werewolf is we didn't get to see its full body, except for like the one scene where they're in the underground subway from a far distance, like an above shot, because the whole back end of the werewolf is all remote controlled animatronic. In American Werewolf in Paris, the werewolves were CGI. This was in '97, guys. I mean, this was in the era of the Scream films, particularly the first two films. Scream 2 came out in '97 as well. So after watching the movie a couple of days ago, you can tell the CGI is kind of off a little bit, but it still works. I mean, the werewolves still look pretty badass to me after all these years. I mean, you get villains like Claude and his gang. I thought it was really unique. I mean, they had like an underground party thing, and basically all hell breaks loose, and all the people down there become victims of theirs and stuff like that. It's just really, really crazy with how things go. I don't know how the heck that even worked, but that was really, really weird. I had it in like that. I'll probably have to make a separate video to do the redo all that with the motion thing, but it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, the movie itself, it is pretty good. I thought one cool scene in the film is when Andy and his buddy are on the and his buddies were on the Eiffel Tower. It was at night. They went a bungee jump, right? This was the introduction to Seraphine in the movie. And she stands up on the balcony of the Eiffel Tower. And she notices him there. He knows her, watches her. And she jumps off, and he goes and runs and jumps with the bungee cord attached, and I believe his bungee cord at the end of it wasn't attached to something to hold him, so his buddies grabbed it. So he's going down. It's a pretty cool effect. You can tell it doesn't really hold up today like it did back in '97, but with her falling with the outfit she had on, it looked really, really cool, because when she did that, the fall, and then here comes Andy right behind her. He does grab her ankle right before she actually falls on the ground, and her one shoe comes off, and it was so funny because, you know, she's on the ground, she looks up at him as he's going back up, and the look on his expression on his face was just comical. But yeah, the movie itself, I mean, it's good. It's not one of my favorite werewolf movies, because my favorite werewolf movie of all time, guys, is the original Howling with Dee Wallace. That is definitely one of my favorite of all time. So a lot of people, you know, like my best friend, he really loves American Werewolf in London, which that movie is a rival to the Howling, because with the Howling you don't get to see the werewolf in full form unless it's like in the one scene near the end where they show like a stop motion figures of the werewolves in full body, but you don't get to see the werewolf in person in the full body of it. I believe the scene where the werewolf in that film kills Terry, you only see the upper body. I think that's all they had made up at that point. But in American Werewolf in, you know, London, it's, you know, you only see the front end of the werewolf. You don't see the back end of it, because the back end of it is the animatronic area, how they actually were able to move it since it was done in the early 80s. So, and then we get to American Werewolf in Paris in 1997. We get to see the werewolf in its full form. I think this was, you know, a really cool thing. I think the only thing, like I said, going back to the beginning, that girl that Andy was making out with in the cemetery, I think they should just kill her off and just left her dead. That there was no reason to bring her back as like a ghost or hallucination for Andy, because he already had his buddy that was killed at the Club de Luna in the movie. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really crazy how, you know, I mean, I grew up I was born in the early 80s, 84. You know, I grew up partially in the 80s and I grew up in the 90s. I remember watching TV and I remember seeing the trailer pop up for American Werewolf in Paris. And then he had the Bush song Mouth, which I thought was really, really well done. I'm not a big Bush fan myself, but that song was really, really well done. And I think it was mentioned in the film that Jim Morrison is buried out there. I thought they said buried out there in France, or is it England? I'll have to look it up later on. But yeah, I just thought, you know, because that song Bush comes on when Andy and that girl are making out, and they're making out on top of a gravesite, you know, which I thought was really crazy, you know. But yeah, and then you know the werewolf does show up there, and all hell breaks loose. But yeah, I mean, it's don't even think American Werewolf in Paris is on 4K in the United States here. I haven't seen it advertised for 4K. Of course, you know, Scream Factory is going out of business, so Synapse or Arrow would get their hands on that one now if they do a 4K transfer or restoration of it. But yeah, I mean, this movie, it's a fun ride. It is a fun ride. Like I said, it's not one of my favorites. I haven't seen it in years. So for my 31 Days of Horror, I decided, hey, let's go ahead and see if it's on YouTube for free. I typed that sucker in, and then there it is. And said, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and watch it, you know. And yeah, I mean, you know, Tom Everett Scott, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I almost thought he was Kirk Cameron. If you guys know who Kirk Cameron is, he was the older kid from Growing Pains back in the 80s. To put the two of those guys side by side, they could be brothers pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it was like I said, American Werewolf in Paris, man. What more can you say, man? Fun ride. Definitely not the greatest werewolf movie I've seen. It's got silly moments in it. I think the werewolves themselves, when you get to see them, I mean, in full form, they look pretty badass still to this day. You can tell the CGI for them doesn't hold up too well, but it's worth, you know, despite, you know, American Werewolf in London and The Howling, you were able to see them in full body on screen, you know. Every second you get to see them, and I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got. I mean, American Werewolf in Paris, starring Tom Everett Scott and Julie Delpy. Definitely, it's on YouTube here. Just type it in. Give it a watch. Tell me what you think about it. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you guys would like to. And I'll see you guys back in the next one. Take care. And this is Oracle sign out. See you guys this Saturday at 7 p.m. for the Dr. Loomis Greatest Moments. And this is the Donald Pleasance Greatest Moments. We're not talking about Malcolm McDowell's performance in Rob Zombie's, the two Rob Zombie films. We're talking about the legendary Donald Pleasance, you know. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.